Now, I'm delighted to be joined by Uwe Becker, the mayor of Frankfurt, who attended the opening of that museum. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, and all the best, and shalom to Israel.
So the museum took 5 years to complete and cost around 50 million euros. Why was this museum needed, and who is behind funding it?
Well, this museum is, or was, I say, the first Jewish museum in Germany when it first opened in 1988. And the decision was made in the past decade to renovate and to enhance it. And now it has double the size of it originally had. And from the first Jewish museum in Germany, it is now the most modern Jewish museum in the world. And the reason for this is because Frankfurt is the most Jewish city in Germany, and the contribution of Jewish life has been so strongly to the development of the city and the whole region that the decision was made one decade ago that we should forward it to the next generation, and they should interpret what is necessary to be told to our present generation.
I'm sure you got a chance to see that beautiful sculpture by Israeli artist Ariel Schlesinger. What did you think about it?
Well, it is in a very strong emotional way explaining from taking the roots away from a place where Jewish roots have been here for centuries. And it explains the way from the past to the future in such a, if I could say wonderful, but at least in such emotional way that no other piece of art, to my mind, could have shown it in this very strong and dynamic form. And especially as it's also placed in between the old and the new part of the museum. So it has many forms of explanation to Jewish life and to the story that we want to tell there in a magnificent way.
So in addition to the sculpture, can you tell us maybe about some of the other highlights in the museum?
Yeah, I think you have to understand first that this museum is the core of a whole little universe of parts of the museum, also at other spots in the city. There are two more satellites so in a few hundred meters away. The one is telling the story of Jewish life from the very beginning of the documented Jewish life in our city, going back to the 12th century until the time of the 19th century. Then we have the place at the former Großmarkthalle, which was the trade place for vegetables, where today now the center of the European Central Bank is. And this is the place which is the place of remembrance of the first mass deportations of Frankfurt Jews beginning in October 1941. And the other side now is the complex with the old Rothschild Palace together with the new enhanced part, where we tell the story under the name We Are Now. And these three words, we are now, it should be a strong statement about today's Jewish life in Frankfurt, and it makes the bridge from the 19th century until today. And of course, it should be a statement for the future of Jewish life in our city. And this is shown now in the new complex, where there is this permanent exhibition on Jewish life here and now. Of course, remembering the development of Jewish life from 1800 until 2020, with many, many family stories, with showing the contribution of Jewish life to the development of Frankfurt, the founding of the university, many other aspects that take place and come together with facts of the Anne Frank family, other things that also connect, of course, with the darkest chapter, the Shoah.
All right, Uwe Becker, the mayor of Frankfurt, thank you so much for this special interview.
Thank you. All the best.